They tell me if you take from one source, that's called plagiarism. If you take from several sources, that's called research. I must confess, the following is more like plagiarism than research, but I hope they don't mind. You see, I have friends that are struggling right now. They see sickness, they see job loss, they see isolation, racism, riots, change. They really need to hear this right now. This is Katharina Amalia Dorothea von Schlegel. Well, not really, I guess. This is actually a woman who was born 70 years after Katharina von Schlegel in the same area that she lived with a very similar name. And it's what Google popped up when I did the search. So since we don't have a picture of Katharina, I use this one instead so that we at least have something to picture and visualize. The reason we don't have a picture of Katharina von Schlegel is because we know very little about her. What we do know is that she was born in 1697. We don't even have a death date. We know that she lived around the neighborhood of Cothen, Germany. And we know that she wrote a song. This, on the other hand, is the incredible woman Jane Borthwick. She lived about 150 years later than Katharina, and she was a Scotswoman, which is why she was so incredible, I'm sure. And she translated von Schlegel's song into English. Finally, this is John Sibelius, a famous Finnish composer. As Finnish composers do, he lived in Finland, and he wrote a very long and turbulent song called Finlandia. It was a patriotic song and a national song that involved the history of Finland. It was very turbulent and chaotic in its music, and it was meant to match the turbulent and chaotic history of Finland. I didn't even know it had such a history, but apparently it does. There is, however, a melody in that song where it gets very peaceful and it gets very calm. Sibelius wrote it specifically so as other Finlandiers would be able to feel their patriotism, would be able to reflect on what it meant to be part of that country. He put it there for thought and peace. Now, all three of these individuals contributed to a hymn that we know pretty well today. This hymn is called Be Still My Soul. All of that is just a nice historical backdrop for this man. This is Eric Liddell. Who is Eric Liddell, you ask? Well, he is none other than the great-grandfather of MMA great Chuck Liddell. Well, not really. I wanted it to be that way, and I searched long and hard to find the familial connection, but alas, I could not find it. Who Eric Liddell actually is the Flying Scotsman. Still don't know who the Flying Scotsman is? Okay, I will pause here for a little bit so you can go to Amazon and download the movie Chariots of Fire. Go ahead and watch it, then come on back. I'll wait. Okay, all caught up? Great. What you learned and what others are about to learn right now is that Eric Liddell was the world champ for the 100-meter race, the odds-on favorite. And he was destined to run this race in the Paris 1924 Olympics. And he was going to win. All of the UK knew he was going to win. They were excited and pumped that he was going to bring back the gold to his country. There was, however, a problem. In the wind-up to the Paris Olympics, he learned that his event, the 100-meter race, would be ran on Sunday. And Mr. Liddell, the Flying Scotsman, was a Christian. And this presented a problem. To the frustration of the Olympic team, the entire United Kingdom, he decided to opt out of that race, a race that everyone knew he was going to win. Why? Why would he face the ire of his entire nationality and walk away from certain fame? Well, I think the answer could be found in his favorite song. In fact, the first verse of his favorite song. Remember that song we were talking about earlier, that hymn, Be Still My Soul? Within the first verse, I have to imagine that Mr. Liddell was brought peace when he sang words like, the Lord is on thy side. Leave to thy God to order and provide. In every change, he faithful will remain. Thorny ways lead to a joyful end. And it would seem in this case, and that last line bears true. Because with this in mind, he trained for the 400-meter race, which previously he was not good at. He was just not competitive. On the world stage, he was beat again and again. But he began to train. He had to change his running style. He had to change how he did things. And in the end, he won gold. He won gold in that event. And to top it off, he brought home bronze in a second event. So I guess he got back in the great graces of his nationality again. And he lived happily ever after. Or at least, that's what the movie Chariots of Fire would lead you to believe. Unfortunately, it's not that kind of story. After the Olympics, he took his family to China to serve a mission. Now, this isn't the kind of mission where you go for a couple of weeks, you eat some of the food, you take a couple of pictures, you build a couple of houses. No, it wasn't that kind of mission. This was the kind of mission where you uproot everything that you have and you go and you live there. You raise your children there. You teach the people there. You try to live a correct life and you try to bring others into your faith. This is the kind of mission that he took his family on. And he took this mission for 18 years. Unfortunately, during that time, Japan got a little obnoxious and decided to invade mainland China. And they did. They ran right over the whole country. Now, because of this, Mr. Liddell was advised to leave China, since Japan was not very fond of the UK at this time either. Yet he was torn. He decided instead to send his wife, who was at that time pregnant with their third child, and their other two daughters back to Canada to live with family. And he would stay in China to serve. In fact, he would go to where people needed him most. As time goes on, he is imprisoned by the Japanese. So in 1943, he was imprisoned with 1,800 others in the Japanese Welshin internment camp. Now, compared to other Japanese prisoner camps, this one, the Welshin camp, was actually very luxurious. The following amenities included your own square feet of space just for you, 23 toilets for 1,800 people. Unfortunately, they usually did not work, and your own bucket. Also included was frequent deliveries of spoiled meat. Now, again, I'm not joking. These were actually amenities that other Japanese prison camps did not have. This was a luxury for him. I wonder, during this time of him deciding to serve and seemingly be suffering because of it, what comfort he gained from the second verse of, Be Still My Soul. Thy God guides the future as he has the past. In hope, thy confidence let nothing shake. The winds and waves shall know his voice who ruled them as he dwelt below. So with that, Eric Liddell continued to serve in that prison camp. In fact, he was well renowned for his ability to settle disputes between prisoners. He taught there in the school the children that were also imprisoned in that camp. He continued to serve with all his might, and vigor. And I would like to say that when the Allies liberated the camp, Eric was reunited with his family, and he lived happily ever after. But if you remember, he never gets to meet his third daughter, Maureen. He never sees her, doesn't ever know who she is. Again, it's just not that kind of story. February 21st, 1945, after 2 years of imprisonment, 5 months before America liberated the camp, the Flying Scotsman succumbed to a brain tumor and passed away. 2 days before his death, he heard a brass band playing off in the distance. He called to the nurse and he asked her to bring the band closer to his window so he could hear them because he had a request for them to play. Can you guess the song that he asked for? Yeah. In the last hours of his pain and agony, I wonder what comfort he gained from the third verse of Be Still My Soul. The hours hastening on when we shall be forever with the Lord. When disappointment, grief, and fear are gone, sorrow forgot, love's purest joys restored, all safe and blessed, we shall meet at last. Bedside witnesses said that just before he died, minutes before he died, Eric Liddell opened his eyes and stated, "It's complete surrender." Now, it's not lost on me that the phrase, "Be still my soul," is repeated 6 times in this hymn, before and after each verse. It is a call to active faith, to oneself, from oneself, a command for self-mastery in the face of all that life can bring. It is an empowerment that all mankind has access to. It is a centering on fundamental principles that will bring peace. To all my friends, even if you don't share my faith, even if you don't know who I am, I tell you this: the reasons why are in the verses. The how is found within the chorus.
Be still, my soul, the Lord is on thy side. With patience bear thy cross of grief or pain. Leave to thy God to order and provide. In every change, He faithful will remain. Be still, my soul, thy best, thy heavenly friend. Through thorny ways leads to a joyful end. Be still, my soul, thy God doth undertake to guide the future as He has the past. Thy hope, thy confidence, let nothing shake. All now mysterious shall be bright at last. Be still, my soul, the waves and winds still know His voice who ruled them while He dwelt below. Be still, my soul, the hour is hastening on. safe and blessed, all safe and we